I'd like to yield 2 minutes to the gentleman from Connecticut, Mr. Courtney.
Gentleman is recognized for 2 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, Mr. Payne, for your leadership on the Homeland Security Committee and also for your hard work on this legislation, which, again, is being closely watched back home in Connecticut and on the other side of Long Island Sound, as Mr. Zeldin indicated as well, in the state of New York. Again, I rise in strong support with my colleague for passage of H.R. 2182, the Plum Island Preservation Act. This has been an effort that has been ongoing since the Congress, unfortunately, took, I think, a wrong turn when they enacted legislation in 2009 with the goal of trying to create funding for the National Bio and Agro Defense Facility in Kansas. But in the process of doing that, set up a truncated sale of this property, which really deviated from the normal GSA process of trying to exhaust other beneficial uses before putting up to sale for the highest bidder. So again, that's been the struggle for people on both sides of Long Island Sound who have been frustrated by the fact that because Congress mandated a sale without any other options, the incredible pristine environmental quality of this precious piece of property was basically pushed down the food chain in terms of, again, the way the federal government was operating. Again, I think it's important to recognize, and my colleagues from New York, Mr. Donovan and Mr. Zeldin, understand this. This still is the most densely populated area of America. The boat traffic, the maritime traffic that flows through Long Island Sound, again, is the busiest in the country. And to have a piece of property that is this precious and this pure, which Mr. Zeldin visited, and I think he can attest to that personally, and I've sailed past it, is really an opportunity that really we just cannot possibly allow to go to a developer that would make that quality forever lost. So this legislation, which stops the 2009 process in its tracks, has GAO step in and do a full, complete analysis across the board and evaluating all options, in particular the options of preserving this unique environmental asset, is the right move for our country. And again, it will be to the benefit of generations to come. So again, I want to congratulate Mr. Zeldin for his persistence. We did get it through the last Congress, the 114th. I think getting this done early in the 115th Congress will hopefully allow us the opportunity to get, can I just have 30 seconds?
I yield the gentleman another 30 seconds.
Thank you, Mr. Payne. Again, it will give us the opportunity to hopefully get some bandwidth in the Senate's floor schedule to finally get this to the President's desk, and again, forever protect an asset for generations to come. So again, I urge strong support for this measure, and I yield back the balance of my time.
Gentleman from New York.
Mr. Speaker, I have no other speakers. If the gentleman from New Jersey has no other speakers, I'm prepared to close once the gentleman does.
Gentleman from New Jersey.
Mr. Speaker, I'd like to offer the gentlelady from Connecticut 2 minutes.
Gentlelady is recognized for 2 minutes.
Thank you very much. I rise in strong support of this legislation. It's very simple. It directs the Comptroller General of the United States to submit a report to the Congress on alternative uses for Plum Island. The report underscores its ecological significance. That's what it would do. Need to be protected, and it would be an important step toward identifying conservation alternatives to selling Plum Island. I believe that Plum Island should be a unit of the National Wildlife Refuge System, ensuring that we would safeguard the island's sensitive wildlife and ecological value. Plum Island is the largest area in southern New England where seals can rest on dry land. Its 843 acres are home to 2 threatened bird species, the piping plovers and the roseate terns. We need to proceed very carefully when considering the future of Plum Island. This is a refuge for wildlife and native plants, and once it is developed, it cannot be restored, which is why the legislation is so important. By evaluating the alternatives uses for Plum Island fully, rather than selling it to the highest bidder, we can ensure that this ecological, historical, and cultural treasure can be protected for generations to come. Proud to join with my colleagues, Congressman Zeldin, Congressman Courtney, on a bipartisan basis to ensure that the environment is respected in our region and across the country. I urge my colleagues to support this bill, and I thank the gentleman from New Jersey for his time. I yield back the balance of my time.